When I'm advising business owners on whether or not they can sue another party, there's a couple of key factors that need to go into that consideration. The first is whether or not they have what's called proper standing to sue. So in essence, what that means is, are they the proper party to bring a lawsuit? Have they been the party that was injured? If they are the party that's injured, then certainly they are going to be the ones that have the proper ability to bring a lawsuit. On the other hand, if there's a third party, for example, that was injured, then the first party is usually not going to be able to bring a lawsuit based upon the injuries to that third party. The second issue that's very important is what's called the Statute of Limitations. And the Statute of Limitations tells you, or tells a party, when they can bring a lawsuit. There is an expiration date, so to speak, for when you can bring a lawsuit. And different claims have different statutes of limitations. For example, if you were to bring a claim for a breach of a contract, that statute of limitation depends in and of itself on whether or not there's a written contract or an oral contract. Similarly, if you are going to bring an action for fraud, there's a different statute of limitations that apply. So depending on what your claim is, you are going to have different expiration dates for those claims. The third issue to be aware of is, what does the actual contract say if in fact you are suing on a contract? If there are provisions that are explicit within the contract, then if the party that you're considering suing has violated that provision, then that's going to be a very important consideration in when you bring the lawsuit and what claims you bring against that party. Another important issue is going to be whether or not other parties have been affected. In certain lawsuits, there's only a single party, for example, your small business, that's been affected by the conduct of a third party. In other lawsuits, there are multiple parties that are involved, and there are certain ways within lawsuits to deal with those other third parties. One is called a joinder, another is called a class action. Class actions generally affect a large number of parties, whereas a joinder action usually involves 3, 4, 10, 20, 50 parties, but certainly not above that number. The final consideration in assessing whether or not you can sue is what type of venue issues are involved. And a venue is a consideration of which court you can bring the action in, if you can bring the action in court at all. Oftentimes within a contract, there's, for example, an arbitration provision which says that you can only arbitrate matters and not go to court to address problems that you have with the third party. So in general, there's a lot of factors that go into whether or not someone can sue, and it's intelligent to discuss all of those issues with your attorney before you decide whether or not you want to go forward with an action.